The Usos have announced the Tribal Court will be returning this Friday from Madison Square Garden for the trial of Roman Reigns after Jey Uso was the first person to pin Roman Reigns this past weekend at Money in the Bank in over 3 years. 6 matches for SummerSlam are reportedly currently in the works and being considered. WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash says LA Knight is just a rip-off of The Rock. An update on Drew McIntyre's current contract status. An update also on who Austin Theory's next feud could be against for the United States Championship, as well as an update on WrestleMania possibly coming to London. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. Let's start off talking about the Tribal Court returning to WWE television. The latest major twist in the Bloodline saga took place at WWE Money in the Bank in London when the Bloodline Civil War took place. The match ended in a major moment with Jey Uso picking up the pinfall victory over Roman Reigns, pinning Reigns for the first time since December of 2019. Jey's victory is seemingly set to set up an undisputed WWE Universal Championship clash between Jey and Roman for SummerSlam in Detroit at Ford Field in August. The first steps towards that match are set to be taken on this Friday's edition of SmackDown from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, where the Usos will hold tribal court for Reigns following Money in the Bank. The Usos took to Twitter to say, quote, "This Friday night at Madison Square Garden, live on SmackDown, we're putting the Tribal Chief on trial. After all this time, it's Tribal Court, the trial of the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns." Now, the first Tribal Court took place on Raw 30 back in January, where Reigns took Sami Zayn to court ahead of the Royal Rumble. Of course, at the time, Sami Zayn was acquitted, but eventually he did exit the Bloodline. So the question is, what will happen this Friday when Roman Reigns is put on trial by his two cousins? Will Reigns even show up? What are your predictions on it? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. Now, what's quite interesting too is actually the finish of the match at Money in the Bank this past weekend. As I mentioned, the finish of the Bloodline Civil War saw Jey Uso score the pinfall victory over the Tribal Chief, marking the first time that Reigns had been pinned, as I mentioned, inside of a WWE ring since December of 2019, where he was defeated by Baron Corbin at the Tables, Ladders and Chairs Premium Live event. Now, the decision to pin Reigns was obviously a difficult one to make, and we now know that the decision had many in the company against it, which is why, heading into Money in the Bank, it was reportedly that the creative team was split over a big decision and a big creative direction for the main event. We now know what this direction was. Per WrestleVotes, the decision to pin Reigns was met with a feeling of, quote, trepidation from a, quote, high-ranking creative member when coming up with the finish of the match. They tweeted, quote, "There was a feeling of trepidation from a high-ranking creative member in crafting the finish for this past Saturday's Bloodline match. A strong argument that Reigns shouldn't be pinned prior to losing the title was present throughout the process. As I mentioned, Jey scoring the pinfall over Reigns is likely to set up an undisputed WWE Universal Championship match with Reigns at SummerSlam in Detroit." And what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it was the right call to have Jey Uso pin Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank, or do you agree with the other member, the high-ranking member of the creative team in WWE, that Roman Reigns should not have been pinned prior to losing the undisputed WWE Universal Championship? As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, obviously, we know that this undisputed Universal Championship match is likely to take place at SummerSlam, but several other matches are reportedly in the works. 6 matches are reportedly being considered for WWE's next premium live event, SummerSlam, according to a new report from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. As of this recording, WWE has yet to officially announce any matches for the show, but Meltzer is reporting that one of the 6 matches will be the aforementioned Jey Uso versus WWE Undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns. At this past weekend's Money in the Bank show, Reigns was pinned by Jey during the Bloodline Civil War match. According to the report, Cody Rhodes will once again find himself in a match against the Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar. The last time Rhodes faced Lesnar was on May 27 at Night of Champions, where Lesnar won the match via referee stoppage after the American Nightmare passed out to the Kimura Lock. At Money in the Bank, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler lost the Women's Tag Team Championships to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez because Baszler turned on her partner Rousey. Now, the two former teammates could be facing each other at SummerSlam. Now, what about Drew McIntyre? Well, Drew McIntyre made his WWE return at Money in the Bank, which was his first appearance since WrestleMania 39, and attacked Gunther, who had just retained the WWE Intercontinental Championship against Matt Riddle. The matchup between McIntyre and Gunther could also happen at the biggest party of the summer in Detroit too. Other matches that are a possibility include WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch, and a triple threat match between WWE Women's Champion Asuka, Charlotte Flair, and Bianca Belair. As I mentioned, this year's SummerSlam will take place at Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan, marking a return to the venue for the first time since WrestleMania 23. Now, this has kind of divided a lot of people on social media and has got a lot of people talking, so I'm really curious to know your thoughts on this one, because Kevin Nash has spoken about the recent rise and surge in popularity of LA Knight, and WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash has blasted LA Knight, calling the popular star, quote, nothing original and a ripoff of The Rock. Despite being a fan favorite going into Money in the Bank, LA Knight wasn't able to secure the briefcase for a title shot, as that honor instead went to Damian Priest of the Judgment Day. Triple H would address the decision for LA Knight to come up short in the post-show press conference, acknowledging his popularity and saying good things come to those who are patient and wait. Fellow WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash, however, was less forthcoming with his opinion on LA Knight. Speaking on the Click This podcast, Nash's exasperation was clear as he said, quote, am I the only one that sees like an absolute rip-off of The Rock to the point when he cut the promo on effing Logan Paul or whatever the F his name is, the only thing he didn't do was turn the MFer sideways. Jesus, does everybody have amnesia? There's nothing original. Now, do you agree with what Kevin Nash is saying? Is LA Knight just a rip-off of The Rock? Is there nothing original about the megastar? Was he right with what he said? Or is he way off base? Does he not understand what LA Knight is doing? And is he jealous or bitter about the popularity? What are your thoughts on Kevin Nash's comments and perception of LA Knight? Really curious to know what you think about what he said there. Now, Drew McIntyre made his return at Money in the Bank, as I mentioned, setting up a program to face Intercontinental Champion Gunther. And Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Selectors has provided some more details about his contract status and details on what the Scottish Warrior was doing on his time off away from WWE. Drew McIntyre is back and set for a big Intercontinental title program with Gunther, picking up where he left off after WrestleMania 39. At the WWE Money in the Bank post-show press conference, Triple H dismissed reports of creative issues between McIntyre and WWE. WWE sources and sources close to McIntyre all confirm that his deal was up in early 2024. Triple H said he hopes McIntyre was there in the company for the rest of his career. Now, Fightful say they never reported creative issues between McIntyre and WWE, but they can confirm that ensuring good creative was something important to McIntyre. While Drew was off TV and social media during that period, he was in continuous contact with Triple H and WWE, though he wasn't informed of when or where he'd be drafted to. Of course, he did end up being drafted to Raw during the WWE draft. According to Fightful, sources close to McIntyre say he has not signed a new contract as of right now. Triple H also confirmed a prior Fightful Select report that Drew McIntyre had injuries that mounted up and needed to get a couple of things fixed. He'd been dealing with injuries for quite some time, including gutting out the highly acclaimed match at WrestleMania with Sheamus and Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. The return reportedly this weekend was kept reportedly very, very quiet, with both sides getting suspiciously quiet in the weeks leading up to it. McIntyre was not brought to the presser after the show and was spending time with loved ones while he had the chance to. Now, what will he be doing tonight on Raw? Will he be at Raw tonight? Well, according to PW Insider, Drew McIntyre indeed will be at the show tonight, returning as a regular and continuing his feud with Gunther over the Intercontinental Championship. As mentioned, tonight's episode of Raw on July 3rd will be taking place from Baltimore, Maryland. McIntyre has held the Intercontinental title once before, winning it all the way back in December 2009 and holding it for 161 days. As I mentioned, it was recently reported that WWE and McIntyre have not, as of right now, started contract negotiations yet, with his deal up in February of next year. So it's certainly going to be very interesting. What do you think happens with Drew McIntyre? Will he sign a new contract? Won't he sign a new deal? What are your thoughts about the creative involved here? And does he win the Intercontinental Championship, or does Gunther break the record of the Honky Tonk Man, or does McIntyre prevent that from happening? Now let's talk about the other mid-card title in WWE, the one on SmackDown right now, the United States Championship, currently held by Austin Theory, and Theory's next feud may have just been teased. WWE visited the United Kingdom for the week, with London hosting Money in the Bank over the weekend. However, the company made stops in a couple of different cities during this tour. On July 2nd, a live event took place in Cardiff, Wales at the Cardiff International Arena. During the show, Austin Theory defended the United States Championship against AJ Styles, which some are perceiving as a tease to where the US Champion's focus will be heading next. Theory has been feuding with the Brawling Brutes on WWE programming and will face Sheamus on this Friday's episode of SmackDown from MSG again for the United States Championship. On the same edition of the show, AJ Styles will be going one-on-one with Karrion Kross, which should put a close to the mini feud the two men have had on SmackDown. Kross actually faced Sheamus on the July 2nd Cardiff show, so this may be indicating that these four men might be swapping rivals over the next few weeks ahead of SummerSlam in August, or of course it could just be a case of that's what they wanted to do for the live event. So certainly it could be Austin Theory versus Styles, or it could just be a case of having a match for the sake of it during a WWE live event. Obviously, there was a lot of discussion, there still is, about the possibility of WrestleMania coming to London. It was heavily teased by John Cena, wasn't it, on Saturday? And a new report has provided an update on when WWE could possibly even bring WrestleMania to London. WWE Money in the Bank marked the first premium live event in the country in over 20 years, delivering a huge moment on the show. John Cena made his return for the first time since WrestleMania 39. During his promo to the London crowd, Cena proposed WWE bringing WrestleMania to London. No confirmation of those plans was provided, though, from Triple H during the post-Money in the Bank show press conference. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select provided an update, noting that WrestleMania 40, of course, is set for Philadelphia in 2024, and the company is already in the late stages of finalizing their deal for WrestleMania in 2025. The report notes that the early indication for 2025's WrestleMania 41 is indeed a city in the United States. The earliest that London could host a Mania is 2026, unless something drastic happens, and WWE sources indicated that they don't find it likely that that's on the horizon for now. However, there was a survey taken near Media Day in London this past week asking about what cities in the UK would be most convenient for a hypothetical Royal Rumble or SummerSlam event. Among those cities listed were London, Birmingham, Manchester and Glasgow. Despite the tease from Cena, WrestleMania was not listed on the survey. As previously reported, a backstage update on John Cena returning at Money in the Bank was also provided. It looks like it was just a special one-off, and indeed he's not going to be returning to begin a feud or anything like that with Grayson Waller. So do you think we'll ever see a WrestleMania in London? Is it just not going to happen in the foreseeable future? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. But there you go, guys. It's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Remember, you can join the WN365 roster by clicking the join button. The link's also in the video description. We are going to be getting another members exclusive only content. The continuation of the Monday Night Wars rewatch series is going to be coming up very, very soon. So if you haven't already, join the WN365 roster, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.